Really interesting video. We got how I see the USA as a European. This is after 6 months of her being there. It's going to be interesting to see what she thinks about it, what kind of fish she's going to talk about. So yeah, let's jump straight to this
I feel
one.
like I need to preface all of this by just saying that this is not a political video at all. It's just my impressions, my views, my opinions, nothing too serious.
Don't go
Best
too crazy,
drivers and worst all-way crossroads. I am not surprised that a lot of people don't have passports in the US. They literally got kicked out of a Starbucks. Would I ever live in the United States? All right, let's get started. So I'm Ava, and
this has sounded too promising.
I'm a travel YouTuber, as many of you might know. I've traveled to, I don't know how many because I don't really count, but 70 plus countries.
Oh, wow.
And I am as European as it gets, in the sense that I was born in Poland, I grew up in England, but I lived in a whole bunch of different European countries. Italy, Germany, Belgium, Poland, England. Recently, I wrapped up a 6-month trip of the United States where I traveled all across the country. You know, the United States is such an interesting place. Some people love it, some people hate it. So in this video, I want to give you a little bit of a dose of how a European might perceive the US. First of all, cultural shocks. So you see, you know, back home in Europe, we're all brought up with, you know, Americanized culture of some kind. But it's only when you get to the United States that you realize how different some things are. So for starters, everybody smiles at you in the US, and people give you random compliments on the street. Like, I'll be walking down the street and someone will just like shout out from the other side of the street, like, "Nice tattoo, man."
I don't think you guys understand, like, America's watching this video right now. I don't think you understand how weird that would be for us, because like nobody does that in the UK. You just keep yourself to yourself. If somebody did that, I'd be like, huh? I'd be like, yo, someone's in a good mood. But yeah, that never happens, so that'd be very weird.
Like, "I love your hair," or like, "I love your necklace." People are so nice. I love that about the US. Another cultural shock that I experienced are the cars. All the infrastructure is centered around cars.
Right.
So, you know, in Europe, it would be really easy to like take a bus or a train somewhere. In the US, it's like, you got a pickup truck or you have nothing at all. You take your pickup truck, even though you're not hauling anything, most likely in your pickup truck, and like you go to a drive-through restaurant, drive-through cafe, drive-through shop.
Oh yeah, I've seen a video on this. They have drive-through nearly everything, man. But that's cool. I like it, and I prefer cars to public transport anyway, so I love that.
Drive-through ATM.
That's mad.
I swear there's probably not a single drive-through ATM in all of Europe.
No,
the point
is,
it is a very car-centric culture. So without a car, it's kind of hard to get around, which is a major inconvenience if you don't drive. Also, I feel like in some of the places that I've been to in the United States, the concept of a pedestrian doesn't really exist.
What does she mean?
Because there's like no sidewalks.
Wait, huh? Wait, what? No, there has to be sidewalks in... Like, I've seen sidewalks in America, but what? There's not many?
Pavements. I don't know what you call them in the States. Pavements or sidewalks? I'm not sure what they are. Anyway, it's like they are the least important thing on the road, which is kind of sad because, you know, I like walking. Another cultural shock that I encountered was whenever I went to restaurants. What is up with the waiter just literally taking your card and then taking it somewhere? I don't know where they took it. Are they like taking it to steal my data? Are they like, where did they take my card?
Why did they do that?
In Europe, every single time the waiter would come over with the little card reader machine, and you would like put in your PIN, you know, right there at your table.
Right, note to self, if I go to America and I'm at a restaurant, if I'm paying the bill and they just take my card out of my hand, that's what they do, okay? I'm so used to them, they come into the table with the thing for me to pay.
In the United States, they take your card away from you. And then there's the tipping culture. In the United States, you know, you go to get a coffee, it costs like $4, $5, whatever. And then you're taking it away, but you're still expected to give a tip. And it's not just any tip, it's like 20%, 25%. Those are like the little options that they give you on the little iPad. You know, and if you tap like 10% or 15%, that means you're cheap. That just makes you feel really terrible, like an awful human being. So you end up tipping 25%. We don't have.
Wow. What would happen if you don't tip? Like, if I went to America, of course I'm going to tip because I've seen all these videos about tipping and stuff, and like that's how they make their money and stuff. So of course I would. But if I went there and I didn't really have much knowledge about it and I didn't tip, what would happen?
Have that in Europe. In some countries in Europe, you don't even tip because I guess
you don't.
waiters are paid an appropriate living wage, so they don't actually need to rely on tips, unlike in the US. In some countries in Europe,
in the UK, tips are just extra. Like if you get a tip, you've been very nice to the customers.
you do tip
Very
a
nice.
little bit, like 10% maybe if the service is really excellent, but in a lot of places you just wouldn't. So that was a really interesting difference. Not only are the prices in the United States generally higher,
Oh, they're higher?
but you also have to add that extra for tipping. Also, sales tax. Like, again, you go to a supermarket, it says one price, but you end up paying something completely different. What's up with that? And then there's like a couple of really small things.
Yo, that would weird me out the most, I think. So like, because normally I go into shops, and I still do it now. So like, I'm like, I'm going to spend £20 on some snacks, right? And I'm like, okay, £2, £2, boom, £18, I'm good, right? £20, I'm good, right? But in America, if I was doing that and I went to the till and it's like 25, I'd be like, oh, I don't have the money. Like, what?
That at first you don't even notice until you get it really wrong, and then you learn very quickly.
Right.
So date formats. In the States, they put the month ahead of the day. How does that make any sense? Surely you should go from like smallest to biggest, right? Day, month, year. In the US, it's month, day, year.
Hey, they're just getting freaky with it. Listen. It makes sense to me to go smallest to biggest, day, month, year. Maybe like biggest to smallest, year, month, day. But just month, day, year, you're just like, let's just scramble it around for no reason.
I'm sorry. It's just simply wrong. And Fahrenheit. Don't even get me started on Fahrenheit, on pounds, on feet, and inches. Okay, I grew up in the UK, so I am familiar with some of those units.
Right.
But Fahrenheit, just so confusing. So like 0 is the point just before freezing. So anything below 0 that is freezing should just be minus, right?
Right.
But in Fahrenheit, somehow it's like 20 Fahrenheit is freezing.
Wait,
I don't even know. Spent 6 months there, did not learn a thing. All right, let's move on to some of the differences between the United States and Europe. So I drove all across.
Yo, she's going in right now on American stuff. She's actually going in. Oh, I can't wait for the comment section in this video.
Across the United States, right? Like kind of twice, like all the way from Texas to Alaska and then all the way from Alaska to Southern California.
Oh my God.
And one thing that really struck me is the driving. So first of all, in the US, it's pretty common not to know how to drive, stick shift, like manual. In Europe, that's basically how you learn. Everybody drives manual, and people do have automatic transmission cars, but like you can drive both.
See, if I had the choice, I would definitely rather drive automatic. I didn't realize in America most cars are automatic. I didn't realize that.
Right? Whereas in the States, it's mostly automatic transmission, which is kind of funny to me. So I felt like people gave me extra props for like being able to drive manual, whereas I'm just like, well,
we all do.
Special. Everybody does it back home, Then there's the road rules. Things that I just didn't know before coming to the United States.
See, this will be my problem right here. If I went to America, driving on the right side. Wait. I don't even know what side I drive on in the UK. What side do I... Yeah, driving on the right. Yeah, this is why it'd be a problem, man. But yeah, driving on the right side and doing the right turns and stuff like that. And sometimes you can go at red. I heard that you could go at red lights. Oh, that'd be so weird. I'd have to do a whole entire driving course just to drive in America.
For example, in the US, even when the traffic lights are red, you can still make a right turn, right?
That's so weird.
In Europe, that is not the case at all. If the light is red, it is red for a reason. You have to stay there. Stop.
Can't go.
Unless there's a little like green arrow like pointing to the right. Otherwise, you're standing there and waiting until it turns green. I can't tell you how many cars have like literally just sat there behind me waiting for me to make a right turn before I realized that I was actually allowed to do it. But they would just, sit there and like honk at me and I'll be like, what's your problem? It's red. And then my favorite thing about driving in the United States, all-way crossroads.
Huh?
The crossroads with like the like red stop sign and then that says like 4-way or all-way. I still don't know what the difference is, but what it is, and this is mind-blowing, you drive up to this crossroad and then the first person that got to the crossroad has priority. So there's 4 directions, right? And then there's 4 people competing for priority. So you gotta sit there in your car while driving and like calculate, okay, that guy was first, that woman was second, then that guy, and then I'm fourth. And then there's more cars coming. So it's super confusing. Like it's like a big mental workout. I am not kidding you. I used to find this.
You know what? If no one's going, just go. It's one of those things. If nobody's going, I'm going.
So confusing. And like, I just didn't even know that was the rule. So it took me a little while to kind of figure that out with the help of a friend. I would just like literally stand there and like wait for people to go because I had no idea what the hell was going on there. In Europe, the person that's on the right
goes.
Always has priority.
Yeah.
That's it. So you don't really have to think about it very much. Another big difference between Europe and the United States is the sheer distance of everything.
Oh, it's massive.
So back home, you know, you'd like drive to the next city and you'd be like, yeah, you know, I'm like 3 hours away, you know, I'm like 200 kilometers away, whatever. In the US, like people don't even talk about driving in terms of hours. They're like, yeah, it's a 2-day drive. A 2-day drive? Like in Europe, that is literally like the other end of the continent.
Yo, that is actually mad. Because like my family was 3 hours away from me. I'm closer now, right? Thank God. But my family was 3 hours and that is too long of a drive. Like they're back, like just to go see them for a day, right? So I'd rather just go there for a weekend and stuff because 3 hour drive there, stay there for a couple hours, 3 hour drive back. It's too long driving. But to you Americans, you're probably like, nah, that's short. I'll do that. I'll happily do that. Yeah, that's crazy, man. You guys are just built different over there.
In the US, you're just like driving from one state to the next. It's pretty radical. And also
Mad.
Texas is huge. It's like never ending. Texas never ends. Never. Ah, my leg is asleep. Moving on to some of the expectations versus reality. Oh yes, hello little boy. So naturally, before coming to the US, before doing this massive road trips, I had some expectations built up about the United States. Now, mind you, this wasn't my first time in the US. I had already been to like San Francisco, LA, New York City, Miami, you know, but this is the first time that I actually drove across the country rather than just staying in cities.
Wow. You know what, actually? You know how I'm saying 3 hour journey is a long journey for me? It definitely feels a lot longer driving it because we don't have this scenery. Do you know what I mean? I could happily drive through these roads for hours and hours and hours. If you guys pull up on Google Maps, the UK, you'll see why it's a long journey. There's just nothing to look at. It's just boring. It's just, you know, just going.
So yeah, I definitely came with some expectations. So let's see how they matched up to the actual reality. Okay, first of all, I really thought that I would see guns absolutely everywhere. Honestly,
see, I would
to be
think that as
completely
well.
honest with you, I expected that every Walmart would sell guns. That was literally the idea that I had in my head.
Yeah, kind of the same.
Every single Walmart in the United States had a gun section. That is not true.
Well, there's all kinds of sections here at this Walmart beyond the groceries there. One thing that I do not see is guns.
It took me like 5 Walmarts before I actually got to the one that did have a gun section, which was really interesting. Like in Europe, you just do not see guns ever. But in the US, they are relatively common. You do see in some states, obviously like states that are like open carry states, you see people with actual guns like right, you know, like right here, which is interesting because that was an experience I never had before. But I definitely expected to see more guns than I did in reality.
Oh,
now,
yeah, interesting.
This is not a video about gun problems and gun laws and things like that. I'm sure we all have our opinions. The fact is that I just expected to see many more gun shops everywhere that I went. And I did. One thing that I was kind of...
Yeah, we're not going into the politics of guns. No. We've been there, done that on one of the videos before. I read all the comments. You guys are very strongly opinionated. For, against, whatever, tit for tat. We ain't going there. We ain't going there.
Worried about.
Rule 101.
I expected everybody to always talk politics. Because again, you know, politics is such a big, contentious, polarizing subject, not just in the US right now, but all around the world. So I was really worried that I would come to the US and I would have to have political conversations with people. And that fortunately didn't happen. I mean, the funny thing is that if you're from the States, the way that you have a conversation is telling of your political stance. The way that you joke about gun laws, or even just like looking at fences, you know, with like Trump 2024 or Biden something. There is so much politics all around the US, and like I think in the like psyche as well, in the American psyche. But luckily, I think as a foreigner, you get the privilege of not having to talk about politics. And I feel like people do see you as a bit of an alien in some way, that they just kind of spare you the political discourse, which is great. I'm honestly not there.
Yeah, to be fair, now I think about it, why would Americans really talk to a foreigner about politics? Because they like, you Americans probably are thinking there's no point. They don't really know too much on it anyway. They just see what's on the media and stuff. So it's just wasted time at that point.
To talk about politics. I also expected all the food in the States to be absolute and utter trash.
Huh?
Garbage. There's so many of these words that now just trip me up. Garbage is American, trash is British. Is it? Yes, I think it is. Okay, so I expected all...
Wait, no. Trash is American. Garbage is British. Wait, we say rubbish. Wait, I don't... Wait, what? I've seen so many American videos. I'm actually confusing myself now. I feel like I'm slowly becoming American. What? We don't say trash in the UK. I'm going to take out the trash. No, we don't. I'm so confused. I don't know what I say no more. I'm actually confused.
All food in the States to be trash.
Wow. The thing is, no. I actually never seen America. Oh, really bad pause. My bad. She's not seen American videos then on food, because I've seen many food review videos and oh my god, the food looks so good.
It wasn't all bad. Maybe that's because I have been following mostly a vegan diet, so I have been avoiding a lot of the super processed stuff. But the fact of the matter is that trash food is very, very, very cheap and very widely spread. But in the US, you can also get some of the best food in the world. It's just that it costs a little bit extra. Whole Foods
is worth it.
I love you. The reality is... What's up? Intruders? The reality is that the US has the best and the worst food in the world. It's just that the best food comes at a very high price point.
Oh, I've seen a lot of good food.
More people have more access to better quality food for like much lower prices. All right, let's move on to some of my favorites, some of my least favorites, some of my frustrations, some of my struggles. Best drivers and worst drivers in the United States. My favorite places in the US, Montana, Wyoming, and then Central Nevada.
Americans, is this true? Is this the best places? The three you just said? And are you guys from these places?
Not Las Vegas. Never been there. Like the deserts of Nevada. There's so much nature, so much space, so much beauty. Least favorite place in the United States, Yellowstone National Park.
Oh wait,
Granted,
what?
I went there like at the height of the tourist season, but man, that place is basically just a massive glorified parking lot. It is like nature completely Disneyfied.
Wait, I've heard a lot of good things about Yellowstone though. Like it being beautiful and stuff, and people enjoy their time going there. So that's really interesting that you just said that.
And you know, okay, it's great. It's probably more widely accessible to a lot more people, but I just feel like it just lost its charm. So I might give it another shot in the future, but
interesting.
I wasn't wowed. Best drivers in the United States, Washington and Oregon. By and large, very polite. Worst drivers, Nevada and Montana. Oh my God. And I'm sorry to say, but if you own a Ram pickup truck, you are very much in that category.
Yo, Nevada and Montana, and you guys gotta fix up your driving.
I can't tell you how many pickup trucks have like passed me while like you're honking and showing me obscene gestures for not going faster. It's like, man, my car is like 17-year-old, 3.5 ton expedition rig. I cannot go faster than 60 miles per hour. Physically impossible. You know, have some respect. Yeah, Ram pickup drivers.
Oh, she don't like you guys.
Here's a few things that I found frustrating and nice surprises in the US. So, you know, I walk barefoot a lot of the time, and I literally got kicked out of a Starbucks for being barefoot. And there's plenty of restaurants and cafes and shops that have like that really obnoxious no shirt, no shoes, no service sign on the front door. Man, it's like, like I'm not hurting anyone by being barefoot.
No, but I get that though. I get that. Like, let's say someone's like drinking, eating. Like, I'm not saying she's got manky feet, right? But like, if I'm in Starbucks or wherever, this is understandable. If I'm eating or drinking and someone walks in and they got manky feet, let's say the toes are rotten, the toenails are curling, right? They're just disgusting, right? I'm going to be like, I'm going to be put off what I'm eating. Do you know what I mean? So I get that. I understand that point right there. She might get frustrated. She's probably got nice feet, you know what I mean? So like, in her case, she's probably upset by this. But yeah, I don't want to be eating, drinking, and some manky toes in my face. I don't want that.
So that was a bit annoying. And then a lot of places don't allow dogs, which is also a little bit sad because this little munchkin over here, come here, come say hello.
Yeah, that's the same everywhere though.
This little munchkin over here would like to go to your cafe, and he's a very good boy.
Aw. Yeah, a lot of places in the UK, I'm telling you right now, you will not be able to go in barefoot. I'm telling you right now, if it's not the shop people, the people that work there kicking you out, the customers are going to kick you out in the UK. So it's the same here as well.
He's a very good boy.
And there's not many dog allowed places either.
Just look at his face. Okay, here are some of the nice surprises that I had when visiting the US. So by and large, I found people in the US to be really, really, really lovely. Very
I've heard
friendly,
this many times.
really polite, you know, very welcoming and hospitable.
Other than the drivers.
Another really pleasant surprise, and this was probably my favorite thing about the US, was the sheer diversity of the country. I mean, there's just so much to see. And I could pretty much wild camp in all of these amazing places in my 4x4 rig. I would imagine that if you're in like a giant RV,
that's beautiful.
RVs, what the hell? We don't even have those in Europe. RVs. That's definitely another culture shock. Anyway, I can imagine that if you're in a giant RV, that wouldn't be the case, but in my little truck, I had access to so many beautiful places, and that was just awesome. So, you know, back home in Europe, people sometimes make fun of Americans, you know, saying that, oh, they're Americans, they're not very cultured, they're not very well traveled. But
see, I've not really seen that much, but I do live under a rock. But I can understand why people would say that, because a lot of times when I ask an American, have you ever been out of America? They will say no. And it's quite surprising. But then what I've also got to think is I've never been out of Europe. Right? And America is bigger than Europe. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It kind of makes sense. Like, I've been Spain, I've been Greece, I've been Turkey, and you can fit all of them and the distance in America. So it makes so much sense why Americans haven't left America.
But you know what? I completely get it now. Like, I get it why most Americans don't even have a passport.
Yeah.
Because everything is so far away. You know, in Europe, we have this amazing privilege that we can literally hop on a train or hop in the car, and within a few hours, we are in a completely different country with a separate language, a different culture. It is just so diverse, and everything is really close together back home. But in the US, everything is so far. Even getting to the next state is a trek and a half. So I am not surprised that a lot of people don't have passports in the US, or that they haven't traveled abroad, or that they don't know other languages, because in order to do these things, you have to be quite privileged financially, which back home in Europe is a very different kind of dynamic. So do I have any regrets?
Yeah, that surprised me.
Yes, a couple. First of all, I really wish that I could have stayed longer, but my visa only ran for 6 months, so that's how much time I had, and I just really hope that one day I get to come back and see more of it. Hopefully, someday soon.
So a lot of points in this video was like, she was kind of like going at America a little bit, but she definitely, overall, she definitely enjoyed it a lot then, because she really wants to go
The
back.
regret that I have is not having really engaged with different communities across the United States. So next time I come, I'd love to get more perspectives on what it's actually like to live in the US today. You know, people from all kinds of different backgrounds and ethnicities and cultures and communities. So I really hope that I get to do that next time. So a few closing thoughts. I noticed that throughout my time in the United States, my accent started changing, and it went from this like Britishy accent to something more like hybrid American. I'm not sure if I loved that about myself. So I'm just kind of like easing back into my normal way of speaking that is like not influenced by.
Nah, just go with it. You know what? I actually don't see. I don't know if it's because it's my accent, but I actually prefer the American accent to the British accent. So you know what? Give me a 6-month visa. I'm gonna eat good. I'm gonna live good, and my accent is gonna change for the good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to hop on this 6-month visa and do it as soon as possible.
You know, my context. So yeah. On to the big final question, the most important of them all.
Right.
Would I live there? I don't know what the handshaking was all for, just to build extra tension. Anyway, would I live in the United States, given everything I have come to learn about this country, given all the places that I've seen? And the answer is very simple. Yes. 1000% I would live in the United States.
Bro, have you seen the houses? I would do it just for the houses. Like, you guys are so lucky to have such big houses for decent prices, and how much land you have with the house as well.
To me, the United States is the most beautiful country in the world.
Oh, wow.
It really is. I just love it so much.
And she said, how many countries has she been to? Like 80 something?
I completely fell in love. So if you're American and you're single, email marriage@avazubek.com to send me offers of marriage so that I can move there permanently and build a house in Montana or Wyoming or Nevada.
Is that the only way she'll be able to live there? Is if she got with someone from America, or would she be able to move there for work?
Just kidding. That email address does not exist. So those are some of my impressions of the United States. It is really hard to condense 6 months of life experience into this short video, but if you found any of this surprising or funny, I'd love to hear from you. And if you feel like I should give the United States another chance sooner rather than later,
she's definitely going back.
Make sure you leave a comment below.
100%. But really good video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comment section. Definitely be checking them all out. If you guys enjoy, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.